All right. Carlo, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Amazing. I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome.
It looks like Zach is having some technical difficulties. So we'll just do a little intros without him, and hopefully we can have him join on here once he is ready.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. You want a little introduction then?
Yeah. Tell us a little about yourself, what you're building, who you are, and why you're here.
So, good night to everyone, or evening, day, afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Carlo. I'm one of the co-founders of Rives. We have this super cool arcading platform that's built on Base. And the cool thing about our project is that it allows you to actually verify the gameplays, right? So we don't use the on-chain part just for the economics or the scoring on the stuff, but all gameplays are actually verified, which is super cool. And the arcade we have has this retro vibe, which is super nice. And we have a really cool API that's easy for everyone to use. So our main objective is just allowing everyone that has some cool idea to just make a game out of it, share with friends, have fun, compete, and yeah, just build on chain, right?
That's the purpose. That's why we're here, baby.
Awesome.
Q, Wingo, are you guys here by any chance?
Hello, I'm here. How are
Perfect.
you?
Amazing. How are you?
Not too bad myself, man. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Luciano?
Luciano.
Luciano? Oh, nice to meet you guys. So it looks like Zach is here from his phone, but I'm gonna go ahead and yap a little bit here. So, name is Wings. Very nice to meet everyone here. Base morning, base night, wherever you are from. I'm from Canada. I am one of the leads and co-founder of Fox Area, a pixel platform game that we are currently developing. It's about communities where they go and compete through on-chain avatars. Just to keep things simple, am I allowed to share my screen or present?
Actually, go for it, and then we'll go back to Carlos so he can present a little bit about it before Zach hops on, so everyone can give some context about a little more context about what they're building. So if you see there's a present button that you can click share screen, and then I'll add it
Cool.
to the
Let me,
session.
let me just move the stream away.
There we go.
I think you guys can see it.
Yep, they can see it now.
Perfect. So this is just a beta version of Fox Area. It's currently off chain, but we are working on our next version, which is going to be on chain. And we are going to be doing a mint on our platform, a little tournament game where we'll be giving away a lot of prizes. So just check us out if you guys want to follow along. It's at Fox Area HQ on X, and on Farcaster, it's Fox Area. So a little bit about the game. We have three modes. We have the campaign mode, the event mode, and maps. Although I can't show you guys the maps right now, sorry guys there. The campaign mode is what I will be able to show you, and it is a speed running game. So if you guys like leaderboards, tournaments, prizes, it is a game based off speed running. So any percentage, 100 percentage, those type of games where you try to complete the game as quick as possible. You rank on the leaderboard and you try to get one of the diamond badges. So just to make it more simple, each of these are considered a level. This is chapter one, so it's more of a game, solo level game where you come in and practice and see how well you are doing. So just to show you guys one of the levels, maybe two if we have time.
Yeah.
So there's a little pixel character here, and there's actually an on-chain avatar. This collection is called Crypto Foxes, which is our main collection that we minted out in 2021 in on Ethereum. So very OG project.
Classic. That was even before like Beacon.
Yeah, it's very, very OG. And, since then, we kind of trying to find our way to see what we're trying to do. Not sure if you guys can hear the music. It is a little loud, to be honest, but
No,
oh, you guys can?
I don't
Oh,
think so.
okay. But yeah, this is level 2. So the idea is the campaign mode is a very introduction to the game. I'm currently using my keyboard, so I'm not as quick. You can use your controller if you like.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, so the game is really based off the idea of
Is,
speedrunning.
is it optimized for a controller?
It is optimized for controller.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
So that's level 2.
Great.
And just going to go back to the menu. Obviously, as you progress through the levels, it actually gets harder and harder. And the idea is that we have over 100 maps now that we haven't shown yet. And we have an event game mode where it pieces the levels together. So if we wanted a competition with 15 levels, it goes through the 100 levels, pick 15 levels randomly, and then a little leaderboard game, event game will proceed. One of the things that we're currently building on, obviously this is not working at the moment, is that through the on-chain avatars, we have profiles. So the idea of the profiles is that we want to, it's very early stage in terms of what we're trying to do, but the idea is that you can collect medals, create a unique profile of yourself, track your stats, your gameplay stats, how many death by fireballs and spikes, and you can collect badges. Like in the future, we are planning to do more unique badges, so you can actually build a reputation for your on-chain avatars. Something,
Gotcha.
yeah. And in terms of the event games, if you win a trophy, that's what it's all about. Being the first place, you get this unique trophy on your profile, and it's something that we're trying to develop long term, but it's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of work. And the idea is that we're trying to build a reputation identity thing for your actual avatar itself that you can represent.
And then Talent Protocol will be able to take that data and add it to their API.
Yeah, they could technically. And that's the general idea. Like we want to reward skill players, and it's a competition. So in the next version, what we're trying to do is we're going to have like a free leaderboard and a pro leaderboard. If you're good at the game, you can actually stake USDC or something like that, and then fight against other foes on the on the leaderboard. Um, there's also other things, right? So one of the things we're releasing in the next 2 months is called Shadow, which is the base avatar. What these guys can do, it's going to give you an entry to the tournament. All the assets here, they are interoperable, meaning if you are a shadow or if you have a different character, I wish I had a screen where I could show you guys, but we were partnering with like 10 meme community, over 10 meme communities where we take their IP. The shadow can drink a potion, let's say Toshi, and it will turn into a Toshi avatar. There's 15 skins, and you'll get a random Toshi avatar, blue, pink, whatsoever, and it becomes an identity of that IP. So,
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to do it. Actually, that's a great idea. I like it.
thank you. And there's other IPs that we're trying to onboard. It's gonna take a long time because there's a lot of arts that we have to do, and you can pretty much dick out your avatar with a bunch of assets, and you can wear it across all different type of avatars that we have. So 15 plus communities coming on board soon on base, so it's gonna be a wild time for sure.
That's cool. Somebody in the comments said, love the controller compatibility. Haven't seen much of that in Web3 gaming, which is true. I haven't seen any of that. And then, of course, goes on to say, are you going to drop a token? And then they also said Rive's interface is awesome, works well on mobile too.
Super, yeah. One of our UI person is really cracked, so they're really good. So, yeah, thank you about that. Token, not sure yet, but yeah, we have different things on the platform. I'm just gonna speed run this real quick. You can respin your assets as well with this little slot machine. And here's the inventory section where you can have loot boxes, open them, get different assets, and they have different rarities and stuff like that. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was super cool. Carlo, if you'd like to share a little bit of your game, I think that'd be a great idea. And just click the present button, click share screen. I'll add it up, and then everyone will be able to see it. And then we can sort of compare the difference in games, maybe.
Sure. So this is our home screen. So as I mentioned, Rives has like 2 target audiences or 2 personas, let's say. One is the one that expresses themselves, the creator. So if you click here on create, you just have our documentation. As I said, the API is super simple. And since our arcade runs on a deterministic virtual machine that also runs inside the browser, what's really cool about our documentation is that, for instance, this tutorial for creating a snake game, you actually have the code snippets starting from just drawing a title screen and evolving that. And on each step of the way, you can actually run a cartridge with this code and see it on your browser how it works. So the first one is just a title screen, doesn't do much. But then as you go on, you start drawing some stuff, getting the game to start, and you start drawing up apples, and then you do a moving snake that doesn't grow yet. So let me play a bit here. So as you can see, you can eat, but it just doesn't grow because you don't have the code.
Got it.
And you evolve up to the point in which you have an actual complete snake game with sprites and everything. Okay.
Let's go.
So, yeah.
Oh, come
Now
on.
let's go to.
I knew you could do it.
Yeah, just I don't want to spend a lot of time on people watching me play, right? And then if you go on playing, you actually have the platform in which you have the cartridges. All these cartridges, they're submitted on chain, so you can check the transactions in which they were submitted. I do like a lot this one, which is a super cool platformer. It's called Copter, and you can play on your computer. On your phone, you can just play if you have an external controller for the moment. But in here, I'm gonna play with a controller, for instance. So it has some really cool aesthetics, kind of like the Mega Man reminds me, especially because you die if you hit this spiky stuff. And what's cool about Rives is that we have a lot of customization, right? And we will really want the community of the games to do things their way. So whenever you build a game on Rives, it receives inputs that customize the game, and also the game exports some metrics which the community can make new stuff, right? So Endcopter, for instance, if you define a tournament in which you say, hey, what's important on your score is speed, then it becomes a speed running game. But if you say no, precision matters and not dying, all this stuff, then instead of just going through the level as fast as you can, it just becomes a precision and skill game, right? And you can do the same with any game on the platform. So you don't have to be a developer. You can just create new ways of playing the game. The communities can explore new stuff around it. So this game here, the default rule, which is the one I'm playing, has a lot of lives. So I'm just going to leave here. And whenever you're done playing, you can just submit it on chain. So this one is a tape that was interrupted.
that's that's nuts.
Yeah, and I don't think you guys are going to see, but I'm confirming the transaction right here.
It's posted
And
to base.
yeah, this is the transaction on base that sent my
Incredible.
gameplay. You see? So if you check here, you're going to see the payload. So this is actually all the encrypted movements that I made while playing. And that goes to the Rives app chain, and it's verified. Now, whenever you're done on that, you can share on X and just show something funny you did, something stupid, or something epic. And all these gameplays, as they're on chain, you can just come here and just rewatch them, right? So as soon as the app chain processes them and verifies, they're going to appear here. So here you have all the gameplays from previous players. And
It's like if Steam was fun.
yeah, that's our objective, like making a decentralized team, right? Allowing everyone to just come, create value to their game communities, and get value from that. We're about to start the economic stuff in here, and the idea is that forever. Let me give you just a simple example: Minecraft. So I have a kid that watches all these Minecraft streams all the time, right? And the streamer obviously get a lot of money out of partnerships or funding platforms. But the guy that does all these mods in which they play, they do zero, right? So our idea here is actually enabling everyone on the gaming community to make money and get value from what they created. So it would be lovely if people join our Discord and help us on this mission. And as I said, all the cartridges, all the gameplays, everything is just on chain, so it's fully transparent.
Yeah, go throw up the Twitter one last time. Let everyone go take a look.
Yeah. Let
And
me.
then
Yeah.
Q, get ready. You're next.
Okay. So yeah, this is just an overview of the platform. Hope you guys like and join later.
Carlo, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Love it. I'm glad that we have games on here as well. Definitely naturally at home there. Pretty much a daily gamer on my side. But yeah, just for a little bit of an intro, I'm Q, the founder of Lumino Labs. We are a venture development studio currently just focused on building enterprise solutions to bring the world on chain. Very simple focus, trying to work with Web 2 and Web 3 enterprises to optimize all their on chain activity. For a demo, I think best thing I could show would be Accept USDC. This is an initiative that we're working in tandem with Coinbase Wallet, primarily focused on onboarding merchants to accept USDC at brick and mortar stores. So expanding the base footprint IRL. So this the Accept USDC website recently was just remodeled. Essentially, like I mentioned, the main focus is hitting brick and mortar. So very heavy on in-person IRL conversations. We have team members going out daily, weekly, meeting with stores. But this is pretty much serving as a directory and an information hub for any merchants that want to accept USDC and get on chain. So right now, we're almost over 100 stores across the world. We have a ton of locations here on the directory, and we have sign up links as well on the site. So if you want to register as a merchant, for example, you can do that. If you want to check the directory or register as an ambassador, you could do that as well. But yeah, that's a little bit of a gist on Accept USDC. Generally, we're working on 5 to 10 projects at a time. So it's pretty much just a matter of internal versus external, partner versus only internal Luminode project. But yeah, happy to be here. Nice to meet everyone.
And thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, I tried to bring in some builders from all across the industry. There were supposed to be a couple more DeFi builders with us today, but it seems we over leveraged on the gaming side. So uh, our DeFi folks weren't able to come by, but that's okay. We'll have more panels in the future with more use cases. So the general gist of this panel is about on-chain use cases and highlighting what builders are currently building. So I'm really glad to have you all today. Drux, if you are available, I would love to have you give a quick introduction about yourself if you're here.
All right, yo, BM everyone, BM Wingo, BM Luciano, BM Carlo, BM Quick, BM Zach Prater, like, okay. I am Muhammad, I am a based global builder from Africa. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Zach, and you're the last one.
Yeah, so howdy everyone. I'm a base builder and I'm also a developer and also minorly non-developer. I've organized about 13 base game jams, about 4 different base hacker houses, 5 different game nights. So that's why we have a few that's why we're game heavy for this call. But I'd love to ask a question specifically to Q and Carlo, if that's fine. And I'll phrase it in a really cool way. Q, you're really focused on in-person brick and mortar, and onboarding Web 2 people into Web 3. Carlo, you're focused on bringing the 1.3 million Twitch games or itch.io games into Web 3. What's that process for y'all bringing those people from Web 2 into Web 3?
Carlo, you can take it first.
Yeah, sure. So it's really challenging, right? Because what we're trying to do is something that appeals to core gamers. So we want fun games that they're excited that they can play with their friends, have challenges, express their own games. I mean, AI is here for you to vibe AI your own game, right, and all this stuff. But the way that blockchain was intro to traditional gamers is kind of like yet another microtransaction stuff, right? So if you talk to most of the traditional gamers, when you talk about blockchain, they have this bad taste in their mouth, right? Like I'm gonna buy my game, and then I'm gonna buy an expansion, then I'm gonna buy a DLC. I'm gonna have to pay microtransactions, and now you want to stick NFTs on me, right? So yeah, we're trying to do something that's different, right? Like for instance, Dota. Dota is it's a huge game. It moves millions every year. You have Dota 2 on Steam, which was developed by Valve. You have multiple multi-million dollar championships in there, but it all started with Warcraft 3 mod, and the guy that created it, he didn't get anything out of it. So we really want to show to the traditional gaming community that we want to do this in an open way, in an inclusive way, in which everyone can bring their own ideas, create value, and actually get what they deserve out of it, and not just having someone else getting rich and just getting a bit of glory or recognition. That's it, right? So I think that's the main challenges that we're facing.
No, that was a really good explanation. I'll hand it to Q next, as you know, it's a big gap.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting place to be within the market. I think it's pretty much in one of the most important areas, as everybody acknowledges. One of the most critical parts of any consumer layer is how many consumers are actually on the layer using apps and doing things that are productive in their daily lives. And specifically for payments, because that is one of a few places that we're focused on, there's obviously a ton of fintech web 2 infrastructure that we almost have to just put side by side on a spreadsheet and run all the numbers against, basically showing every merchant how they can benefit. But it is an odd scenario because most of the time, like Carlo mentioned, the assumption when they hear, oh, let's accept crypto is like, oh, why would I want to accept a meme coin that's going to go down 90%? Or why would I want to accept Bitcoin and I don't know where it's going to go? Most people don't even know what a stable coin is. And so a big part of this is just informing the Web2 audience, informing the enterprises, the users, the merchants at every level. We need more information and education. But once they actually understand the baseline knowledge, they know why an Ethereum L2 can save them money versus Ethereum mainnet costs. It's pretty much always a smooth transition. As soon as they have the information in front of them, it's like, oh, why wasn't I doing this sooner?
That's true. That's a really good way to phrase it, you know. And I'm probably gonna have a list of questions. I hope that's fine. Luciano, do I get a thumbs up for my questions?
Yep. No, you're all good to go. Zach is going to be your host for this panel. The last thing I'll say is, if you haven't sent your base address in the chat yet, make sure you go send your base address. If you don't have a base address yet, send your ENS, send your ETH address, and I'm doing my best to help everyone who needs help to get a base address. So do that the best you can, and then I'll let you guys take it from here. I'm gonna turn my camera off, but I'll be here if you guys need anything.
Sure thing. So yeah, I obviously have a list of questions, and since we started off with how we're onboarding builders, and you know, just kind of the process for that, after you've onboarded either an institutional client for Q, or you know, a game developer for Carlo, what is that process of making sure that they're comfortable in base? Like, what advice do you have for new builders coming into the base ecosystem? And I'm probably going to hand this off to Wing, as he is a new base builder. He's building, launching, and scaling his own game. So Wing, what advice do you have for new builders?
Hello. What advice I have for new builders? Honestly, the probably the best advice, honestly, is probably just to connect with the base builders. Anyone who's on the base ecosystem, join a community, whether it's Telegram, it could be an NFT community, meme community, whatever you're interested in. Maybe you can find a community that has a specific interest that you're looking to develop on, and just join the community, learn a little bit more about what is happening in that community, and yeah, just go from there. That would be my best guess.
All right, can I hand it off to Drux? Drux, what advice do you have for new base builders?
All right. For me, I would say like stay bullish. They're like for starter newbies coming to base. First thing they're going to like on my own end or and how I get started with bases. I first looking through the ecosystem. I've like for like some days or some weeks to check out the base ecosystem works. Then later on, I went through the SDKs, the tools like smart wallet, on-chain kit, mini apps and the likes. So like mini apps was not like around back then, but I tried to like go through everything that is about base, the building part that is on that base. Then after looking into it, then I started thinking of some ideas of what to build, and from there I started contributing to every post, every literally every post made by every base builder. I try to contribute to it, like so that I'll be known and I'll be known by every base builder. That way they will believe in you, they'll believe that you're not just here to like to collect the money, but you're here to contribute. So I'll advise every base builder out there to like connect with any base builder that you know, like they should like their timeline should be full of based posts, very based posts. Like it's based on your interaction with based. That's when you're going to see timelines based on based posts. People like Statute, like Statute, like uh, I salute her, like she's one of the best out there when it comes to newbies coming to base. I salute her. People like Harris, Coco Coats, Gcash when it's content and the likes. So I would like you to like stay bullish, engage on every base post. That's where you get started from. Just contribute to every post, and it's going to help you get started with base and gaining recognition. Thank you.
I like it. I like it. Carlo, what about you? What advice do you have for new Web 2 gamers coming into Web 3, specifically coming to base?
Well, I'd say there's a couple of things, right? So, uh, communities, let's say, way more important, I think, in Web3. So, keep in touch with the community is crucial. Uh, there are a lot of things that, well, we got to figure out better solutions, right? How to make it a simpler experience, especially for people that never touch crypto. So, wallets are challenging, all this stuff. Sometimes you have to compromise a bit to get better usability, but you shouldn't compromise too much on security. Do get on the communities all the time. Unfortunately, we have a lot of scammers. The best way not to be caught on a scam is just to talking to other people, sharing experiences. The community keeps itself safe, right? And in order to do that, you got to be there. You got to share what's going on, and you should rely on others to help secure you as well. And when you connect to others, when you collaborate with others, well, all the projects they grow together, right? So that's another thing. In Web two, generally people see each other as competitors, and in Web three, I think all the projects see themselves a bit more like partners, right? So there's a shift in mentality as well. So I guess those are my 2 cents.
That was a really good overview. And then someone I'm really excited to hear from next is Q. Q, how do you onboard the Web 2 brick and mortar stores into Web 3? And yeah, what advice do you have for people trying to build those payment rails that you say that we need?
Yeah, one of the biggest things, and Carlo mentioned, is just staying resilient. You got to keep at it. They will definitely tell you no. You have to get comfortable with being turned down. But the biggest thing that we can tell them is really the raw benefits, just tracking exactly what their experience is currently and at which turns being on base is better, more efficient, more supportive. Generally, beyond brick and mortar for builders or individuals, one of the biggest things I recommend is just getting on Farcaster. The base community on Farcaster is extremely wide open arms. Happy to help any builder find any information they need on that. But yeah, the biggest thing is just be loud. People will help support you and you'll get all the information you need.
I like that. I like that. And I feel being loud kind of goes for any builder in any ecosystem or any market. So I think we've talked about a lot of interesting things that for new builders that are coming. I'm sure y'all have seen Twitter. There's the base batches that are being launched. There's a new base build-a-thon that's going to be coming soon. What are some applications that you'd like to see people build on base? What are some things that you think we need within the ecosystem? And to hand it off, I'll hand it off to Wing again, if that's fine. Wing, what would you love to see in the base ecosystem for new builders?
For new builders, what would I like to see in the ecosystem? Um,
Yeah,
you
it
know
can
this.
be anything from new games or specifically new tooling that you think people need, such as Unity SDKs and so on.
I mean, it would be nice to have more toolings for Unity, but in general, uh, having a little bit of a blank here, but there's probably a lot of applications that is needed. And I know the on-chain dev kit, there's a lot of things on it that offers easy onboarding, the Coinbase wallet. Just blanked out a little bit. You can come back to me maybe in the next
All right,
speaker.
that's fine. Drux, what about you? What are some things you'd love to see people build on base, especially for the next build-a-thon?
Oh, okay. Like for me, like there are a lot of things, but I don't have much ideas for now. But when it comes to the mini kits, cause on the around on stuff we have the mini kit track, the another. So when it comes to the mini kit, no mini kit helps you like with building Fakasta frames so you can interact with applications on Fakasta and adding the stuff to your Fakasta profile. So like I would say like for you there are many tons of ideas for mini apps for to be built. I saw that I can't remember the person that posted the stuff, but I know that there are a lot of suggestions from what's his name DWR. It's founder of DWR. You guys, can you guys like off with that? Is DWR the
Yeah,
founder
yeah,
of
yeah.
Acosta?
I think he posted like, was it 30 to 50 different mini apps he'd love to see.
I think it was
Yeah, I
7.
think it's like 70 plus.
He must have been really bored
Yeah,
one day. That's crazy.
yeah. So like there are tons of mini apps idea there, like probably to help builders. I'll try searching for it now during the code and I'll paste it in the comments for builders to check it out.
Yeah, please do. And to hand it off to someone that is probably a little bit busy, Luciano, you've hosted a plethora of gaming or a plethora of hacker events. You have your own hacker community. What's something that you'd like to see be built on base?
So I actually was going to bring this up earlier in the on-chain use cases session, but we kind of got carried away with what we were already talking about. But what I really, really want to see is more public goods allocation tooling. I'm working with a local government in Japan right now to allow these citizens to allocate some tax dollars to local public goods and to local impact. So we need more on-chain mechanisms that actually allow this sort of allocation for real people, for real goods, real life common goods like public parks, community gardens, playgrounds, you name it. This is the real, like, this is the shining example of what crypto solves. And outside of like the necessities like payments, stable coins, savings, I think like this is the real use case of crypto. We bring the next billion users on chain, quote unquote, by actually solving real problems for them. And I believe that's public goods funding and building real allocation mechanisms that people actually use.
I love that you brought that up. Have you looked into Jesse Pollock's was it Oak City 3
Yeah.
for Oakland?
Yes.
It's really cool. So, Q, I'm curious what you think about the public goods funding.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually going to say I want to see more things happening like base builder rewards and the talent protocol partnership with base. I think right now that's just barely touching the surface of what we can do when a massive on-chain economy comes together and has funding available for builders, results oriented, which is most important. I think we've obviously been in the early stages of the industry. We've seen some issues with DAOs, proposals getting through that aren't necessarily in good faith. We need more results driven rewards. And I think Talent Protocol is definitely leading in that sector for sure.
No, they definitely are. They definitely are.
And real quick, speaking about rewards, like how, I mean, most of the people here are familiar with Farcaster to some extent. So, how do the Farcaster native builders feel about Dan and the team not giving any sort of grants to the ecosystem, but now doing like the leaderboards for not only casters but now mini apps as well? Very curious to hear people's thoughts on that.
Yeah, personally, I love it. It's been a very interesting thing for me to also use to onboard people to Farcaster, which I've been trying to do since I got on early last year. It's just a hard thing to convince someone from what they're used to get over. And then once you tell them, oh, you could actually be earning from this and get this stake in a decentralized community, it's a perfect example of what we want happening on chain in the real world, on your phone right now. Download Warpcast, use it. It just feels really, really good to be a part of for sure.
I kind of have to agree. I feel like it's a different type of ecosystem itself. At the last game night, we had an amazing builder, the founder of Farmville. He was presenting his application, which I believe is probably one of the top 10, if not
Top
top
five.
one, top five applications on Farcaster, and it not only provides a distribution platform, but it provides a different way for builders to kind of get that excitement.
And monetize too.
Yeah, yeah. Drux, what about you? Have you been building on Farcaster at all?
Drux, would you like
Oh
to share?
yeah. All right. So like I've been hooked up lately, but I started building the around the world game where it's like I use who knows Candy Crush, yeah? Candy Crush. Yeah, it's like Candy Crush. But I use images of based builders, like the matching theory stuff. If I can share my screen, can I share my screen to present?
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Click present and share screen, and I'll add it to the stage.
Okay. Okay.
There we
Can you
go.
see my screen now? All right. So here is the
Yep.
game. Like I still have a lot to do. I'm welcome to feedbacks. So like
Building in public, baby.
yeah, you just click match one. I'm using base builders here, and it's the mini app on Farcaster, but it hasn't been added yet. Um, 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 um,
I
um,
I love the sounds.
I love it too. And I'm a big gamer, so you're gonna have to join the gaming night sometime. Although I'm waiting for Luciando or Satuit's photo to be on there.
Should
Global builders.
should
They'll be there eventually.
you already know? Just let me know.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic of Farcaster and just kind of the distribution, Carlo, I know Rives isn't too big on Farcaster yet. What's your thoughts on building on Farcaster versus building on Twitter? It's really kind of a different marketing monster, but it's the target audience for every Web3 DApp.
Yeah, Twitter definitely has more reach, but if you think about Web3, then Farcaster is more accurate, right? You don't get anyone that doesn't know how to use a wallet or anything like that. Like everyone is basically crypto native in there. So I think it's easier to get like a targeted Web3 audience if you're aiming for Farcaster than Twitter. That said, I still think there's a lot of improvement that should be done, especially on onboarding. I mean, I'm a crypto native, and I had issues because I had to pay with a Warpcast with a credit card, and then Google Pay wouldn't accept it here. So in the end, I could only join Farcaster when someone donated the subscription to me, right? Which is kind of crazy, right? Because I mean, I should be able to just get some USDC or something in there and just pay for it without having a centralized payment gateway saying no because this is suspicious, this is getting from some crazy place or something like that. But yeah, what's here or there, I think it's great. It's always evolving and it's evolving really fast. It's getting a lot of new features that help integrate with your Web3 application, which is super cool. kind of gives it's giving you the vibe of the Telegram mini apps, right? In which you just stay there, you do your stuff, and you sign your things, you act on your applications. So that's super cool. I think at some point it might be the even the main entry point for crypto people to interact with your application.
I can kind of agree, just because seeing the not only the growth of Farcaster, but how easy it is to distribute tokens and rewards to your users on that platform. It it kind of makes it the perfect community for memes such as DGen. But I guess we're gonna wait and see whenever Rise will destroy the Farcaster App Store. With flooding it with new games. I could see that. I think that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it too.
Wing, are you on Farcaster at all?
Yes, I just joined this year, actually, early on this year.
And so, what do you think of the platform? And as a founder and game developer, like, what do you think of the benefits of Farcaster versus Twitter?
Well, for Farcaster and Twitter, Carlo raised many good points. But I used to be a very good advocate Facebook, Instagram user,
Hmm.
and back in the days, you don't get paid for making content, right? You don't get a dime, even if you have a lot of followers whatsoever. It's based off external links, your merch or whatsoever. Nowadays, the meta is actually changing. Facebook is trying to do paying people through views and stuff like that. If you're monetized or if you're on the paying program. But for Farcaster, you can just jump right in. You can play different games, interact with different frames, win some tokens. It's a completely different ball game, and it's very interesting to see how things like that develop. People are or companies are probably now paying attention to stuff like this, where how do you reward the people on your platform and make them actually use it and make them feel good and come back and actually contribute to the overall ecosystem. So I think times are changing, and I've been on the social media platform for a long time, not just Twitter itself. Like Twitter itself has been a huge improvement, or X, since back in the day, right? Their focus is completely different. And I feel like all these social giants are changing the way in terms of how they think. And I think rewarding creators is very important, and rewarding the users on it is also important.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we have an anonymous KOL in our group. Wing over here. Crazy.
No, I used to be a big gamer, so well, for a specific game. So yeah.
No, I like it. So I do have one last question for everybody. I'm sorry to annoy you all with the questions, but we all see base batches going on. We're having an event in almost every region, every country globally. I think there's anywhere between 40 to maybe even high end 60 events that are going to be going on for the next few months. It's really easy for people to be connected, join the base community locally, host the events, different things like that. Base Batches is leading up to On-Chain Summer, to where it's an online hackathon to where people can kind of build whatever they want. And last On-Chain Summer, there were a lot of amazing projects that came out there. And I saw a lot of people build something for On-Chain Summer and then launch it and scale it into a company after, such as Based MC, which came out of On-Chain Summer, instantly built their product, built a community, launched the community, got distribution. What advice do y'all have for these builders that are joining this online hackathon to just keep building and then actually turn their hackathon idea into a legitimate product for people to use? And I'm going to hand it to someone that I've personally done a hackathon with, Carlo. What advice do you have for hackers coming out of a hackathon? How do they get to where you are?
Well, I guess it's a lot of sweat, a lot of cursing, and a lot of I don't know, happiness once things work, right? Because when you do a POC, you basically ignore everything that makes a product, like stability, like all the crazy stuff that people can do. You say, yeah, I'm going to deal with that later, right? But then when you actually have a product, it should work. People cannot lose their assets. Well, you have a stake in there, right? And that it's a lot of work, a lot of frustration. but also a lot of happiness when you see people using it and having fun and doing all this stuff, right? So I think the hackathon is like the place in which you have like that initial spark of creativity, and you get enthusiastic. You might pull one all-nighter or two, but the grinding really comes when you build a product, because that's when you must acquire a community, which is super hard and super important. Keeping the community happy, hearing them, getting feedbacks, all this stuff. You got to be flexible, because what you think it's the best probably for you. And when you're building for the community, not for yourself. So that's a super important thing to keep in mind. And yeah, it's a bumpy road, so you should just stay on course, stay motivated, and go for it.
It's really good advice. And quick lore on me and Carlos hackathon in the past. It was the ETH Global Hackathon. Friday night, we probably stayed up till 4 a.m. Saturday night, we probably stayed up till 4 a.m. And then Sunday, we probably maybe missed submission by 1 minute, or
Oh.
the ETH Global website crashed. It's not a real hackathon unless the submission website crashes.
And the internet doesn't work.
And let me guess, they didn't let you guys submit.
No, they still let us submit, but
Nice.
still we crashed after that.
Oh,
All right,
I'm
I'm gonna hand it to Luciano next. Like you've done a plethora of hacker focused events. You've worked with a series of founders. What advice do you have for hackers to make that leap from hacking to founding?
Yeah. I've won enough public goods tracks at ETH Denver to know that the grind does not come without sweat and blood, just as Carlos said. So it's and the outcome is fun, you know. So at the end of the day, it's all worth it. But it is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get there. But I will say I'll echo pretty much one trope that everyone here said today, and this was also a big theme of yesterday. Was just get in touch with the base community, get in touch with more base builders. If you have any questions about what to build, how to build it, what tooling exists, just start reaching out to people, start asking people for help. Go into the base community and just ask everyone, ask anyone. These are people, we are people that will answer any question about anything, and we're happy to do it. So, like, there are people willing to help you. A lot of people, especially like founders and builders, like Q, Carlo, Drux, all the people here today, Wing, Zach, etc. Maybe these people don't have much time because they're grinders, they're builders, and they're heads down building almost 24/7. But there's a lot of people within the community, even strong, high quality builders that will work with you, that will collaborate with you. And even if I'm busy today, Zach will be free today, and then I'll be free tomorrow when Zach's busy. So just keep reaching out to people until somebody responds and somebody answers your question, in the way that you were looking for, because somebody will. And even if I don't today, I probably will tomorrow. And that's true for most people in crypto.
That's so true. And I have to admit, I'm not necessarily big on Farcaster, but doing these different events with the different home-based community, every single day they're willing to shield me on Farcaster. Every single day they're like, cast something, post something, let us retweet something, let us do something. I've yet to take them up on that offer because I'm bad with social media. But I have to admit, the entire Homebase team, they really are the home of the base ecosystem. And if there's any founders that are looking for a community to get connected with, I think that's the immediate home. Next, I'll hand it over to Wing. Wing, what advice do you have for people to jump from hackathon to founding their own company? I know that you've been building since 2021, so I imagine you have a plethora of advice for people.
Yeah, and it's a very full game. So
Oh,
don't
it's
leave anything
amazing.
out. Yeah, give
It's
us
amazing.
the deets.
well, first of all, I started out as a lead for the project and kind of worked my way up. But yeah, there was a lot of, when meta comes and meta goes, there's a lot of things that you have to realize. There's long-term builders, there's short-term builders, right? So there's a lot of things where you want to put the pieces together, what's important to Web3 ethos, like for ownership, whether it's like digital asset ownership or on-chain avatars, the NFTs itself. There's just like for us, we tried a bunch of other things, and we kind of work towards what Web3 core is, where it's like ownership, the idea of owning digital assets, the aspect of financialization, so you playing to earn rewards or something along that lines, socialization. So we're trying to piece everything together. It's kind of like a trial and error. I would say it takes a lot of time, and to build the actual community, that's a whole different ball game. You need to put in a lot of effort. I'm trying to wrap up the idea of speaking a little bit more, getting to know more people, talking to the communities, leaders, whoever it may be. I'm kind of like more open to the idea now. Yeah. So I feel like that's the one of the important things that we have missed, because you're so heads down building and thinking about like what could be the next thing, or what could be something that you could build that kind of scales. How do you get Web3 native users that is not like $100 per user in a sense, right? Versus how do you bring that to the Web2 level? You have to kind of like target a specific niche, in my opinion. So that's why we're going around the idea of speedrunning. There is an audience in Web2, but how do we get them to Web3? That's the whole ball game. But I do think ultimately you have to start at Web3 native first, and kind of work your way towards onboarding through the idea maybe of the financial, like winning rewards from being a good gamer, like just something simple like that, or owning your actual avatar and earning something. A part of it could be a badge, it could be being recognized, being showcasing them on Twitter or Farcaster about their accomplishments and stuff like that. So that's the way we're going towards it, and hopefully it works out. And yeah, there's a lot of work put into it, and shout out to the team. They are Minded Studios. They have been in the space for a long time, working on a lot of projects. So that's how we are here today, and hopefully we can continue to build.
I love it. I love it, man.
Mm.
Luciano, did you have something to say before I hand it?
I was gonna say the Midas touch. And we also do have two questions from the community. And so if you haven't answered the question that Zach posed, feel free to do that as well. But one more question that we need to pose is Asante asked how much of the state is saved on chain for most of these on chain games. Just a general question. And then Q, you got a specific question about if you've been able to make any headway with larger big box merchants accepting USDC. I know, and they also prefaced that question with, "I know that's a big undertaking." So,
Yeah, we'll probably go to Q
I
first.
like that.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's definitely on the table. It is also a large undertaking. So it's much more of a corporate partnership conversation, right? Longer term, rather than right now physically targeting, for example, a taco truck where you can go on the side of the street. You can talk to the owner directly because most of them are owner operators. Some of them are. And you can actually get that direct connection. So we've definitely had conversations, some still ongoing. But right now, the biggest that you could go to would be pre-existing payment solutions, rather than what we're building is accepting USDC directly on base, right? So it is slightly different, although both of them generally are accepting crypto at checkout. Yeah, for us right now, we're focused specifically on small businesses for now.
I think that makes sense too. Yeah.
The next question is going to be for Carlo and Wing. I'll probably hand it to Carlo first. What or how much of the game state is actually saved on chain whenever people play your game?
So in our case, as I was saying before, pretty much everything's on chain. So what happens is that when you create your game, you submit your cartridge on chain. So when you enter Rives.io and you want to play a game, what's happening is you're downloading that cartridge that the creator submitted on chain, and it's being plugged into this deterministic RISC-V virtual machine running in your browser, and it's running in a fully deterministic way, logging every single input you provide, like you press right, you jumped, all this stuff. Once that's done, we compress this in a very efficient way, and we submit it on chain. So anyone can just pick up the cartridge, pick up the gameplay, reproduce it, and should achieve every single bit of competition exactly the same. And yeah, what happens is once that happens, we have our app chain from Rives, and one of our validator will pick it up. We'll process the entire match that happened on your browser. We check, oh, okay, cool. You made your game. You ended it in 50 seconds. So this is your score, and it's gonna play on the ladder in there. So yeah, everything in Rives, everything is verifiable. Everything is transparent. Everything is there.
Is there any piece that's not on chain?
So the app chain is theoretically off chain, right? Because you have an external validator. But in our case, our app chain is backed by a tech called Cartesian rollups, so it's still disputable on base, right? So
right. I'd say
if something,
technically everything is on chain.
yeah, it is.
It's just cool because most times you have to ask games like, hey, like which part is on chain, and here it's like the opposite, like, hey, is there any part that's off chain? So it's a really
no. In our case, everything is on chain, which is why it's super challenging making it.
Yeah, super cool.
All right, next is for Wing. How much of the game is actually on chain?
Yeah, I would just like to say, man, having everything on chain is actually really challenging, probably. So, yeah, kudos to you. But for us, we started off chain to try out the MVP product. So we did host a competition in 2022. We gave away a lot of money, and then we kind of worked away on building the actual platform itself. So right now, it's still off chain, so we're still working towards making things on chain. But we're looking at the idea where the assets, the on chain avatars, we're trying to not put everything on chain yet. We're trying to figure things out, and then we're gonna put things on chain. The leaderboard, the competition, the reward system, stuff like that will be on chain. Sorry,
the skins.
the skins, yeah, the potion types, the shop and stuff like that. Those are going to be on chain. The player movement though, I'm not sure. That seems challenging. But we will work our way towards releasing different parts on chain. I think that's what we were thinking for now.
It's incredibly challenging. I can't even believe Carlo can compress it enough to put it on chain.
Yeah, it sounds really difficult.
Yeah.
And quick reminder for everyone to send in your base names as well. If you haven't sent your base name or your ENS or your ETH address, do that now. Send your base name or DM me on how to get a base name.
Yeah, I gotta say, Wing, it makes me excited for the future of Fox Area. Like saying that everything is coming fully on chain, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to send them in the comment section. I'm gonna keep rambling, and yeah, feel free to ask questions. Q, I've got a question for you. What advice do you have for people that want to go from hacker to founder? With the upcoming hackathon, I'm curious. You say that there's a lot of payment rails for people to be able to build. What advice do you have if they want to challenge themselves?
Yeah, good question. One of the biggest things I would say is just quickly sprint to an MVP. In all the projects that we've worked on and had success with, the biggest benefit comes from user iteration and actually having something tangible that people can touch, use, break, and just give you feedback on. So, quickest one liner is build an MVP quickly and shipped updates to that regularly. Quick shout out for a team that I think does this really well, the Icebreaker team. Every single week, Jack is posting updates about what they recently built, what features they added, things. I send them a request or find something that was an issue. They look into it, they respond. Just be aware of what your users actually want and build more things for them.
It's really well said. Drex, do you have any advice on builders turning into founders, or yeah?
Okay. All right. For me, I would say like I've participated in many hackathons, quite some amount of hackathons and bedathons. Like we I and my team we had perspective of making building this into a startup. The idea we are going to talk to each other and say like, don't let us abandon this project. If we win this money, let's keep on building this project. Like we have that perspective, but after we win the money, we will just the team will just scatter, and like that's common among many builders out there. I know most of them have the perspective of building it further, but it's just it's like it's a trend. People will just like leave the project and do another stuff, participate in other buildathons and other hackathons. So like one thing, one of the best like method is incubation program, and that is what base batches is doing. The idea of base batches, like I know when it comes to projects like participating in hackathons and you want to like build something like a startup, if you didn't like start the project, like you don't have the perspective of participating in an hackathon and you want to just spend your money. I know that you can be able to build the MVP and achieve the products. That means you are not participating in the inside an hackathon or something, but you are using your own money to do that. But if you have the perspective in participating in buildathons and the likes, it will be good for the buildathon to have maybe an incubation program for projects to keep on building. So like, and I think like that what base batches is doing this time around. I know the base team they might have iterate around and think of what better way to help builders keep building. And the incubation program is one of the best for me.
That's well said. And I agree with you that Base Batches is doing it perfectly. Because after the hackathon's over, there's a incubation program. And it's not just any incubation program, there's a massive prize for it as well. Everyone's going to be demoing. I think it's an amazing opportunity for anyone, including some existing founders that want to claim that they're building something new. Who knows? I might even join. Uh, I do have one last question, just because I know we have to wrap it up, and we have to wrap it up on a good note. Why are you building on Base? Like, what's so special about Base to you? Is it your home base, or is it just the chain? Is it the ecosystem, the people? And I'm going to hand this off to the home base founder himself, Luciano. Why Base?
I'll rattle off one really quick thing that Druck said about just communication among the team. That was such a important point that most people really don't focus on. But if you have solid communication between your team, I mean, you guys will be able to do anything together. It's when you stop iterating and you stop communicating that everything falls apart. So building the MVP and iterating on it is super, super important from a high level. But if you don't communicate with your team, you'll never even get there. So I really love that point from Drox. But yeah, Zach, I think we went over this in extent on the last session yesterday, and most people continued to come back to how valuable the base community is and how the network effects here are just something that they've never seen anywhere else. And it's true. Base really has become the home for most people within the Ethereum ecosystem, not only for cheap transaction fees, but also just for community and for participating in a community that just has amazing vibes, has amazing momentum, and really does make you enthused about what you're building for the future. And when you're building something for the future, you really want people to be excited about it, or else you feel like there's no reason to build it.
That's so true. So true. Wing, I'm going to hand it to you next. Why are you building on Base?
Why am I building on Base? Because Base is Base. As simple as that. But okay, honestly, well, when we first looked at the ecosystem, we saw Base, and we saw how active Jesse was, how active the leader was, how many faces you actually see in the ecosystem. I think there was a trust built in there, right? So and then it slowly expanded, and then it just went like kind of crazy, right? Everybody's Base now. So just off that alone, I think the value there was immense. Just people connecting, even the communities. When you entered NFTs or meme communities, it's just a little bit different. Maybe because it was new, not exactly sure, but just seeing a lot of leaders showing their face, talk about things, making the smaller people feel welcomed, bigger people as well, obviously, and just the amount of people that they keep onboarding, the tooling system. There's just new things coming out every time on Base. It's like they ship a product, they make it better. They ship a product, they make it better, just for everybody that is on Base, and it was cool to see. So that's why we kind of started shifting our attentions to Base. And when we did that, there was Also, not a lot of L2s building, and there were, but Base was the loudest one. So
I like it. I like it. And we're just gonna keep getting louder. So get used to it. Drux, why are you building on base?
Okay, because base is home and it's bringing the next global economy on chain, like what Jesse says. Like me coming to base, I came from the Solana ecosystem of it, like, but after the on-chain summer, uh, after participating on chain summer, I did not win in the buildathon, but I just like I don't know what like I didn't just stop interacting with base Twitter and the likes, base chat, because whenever I interact with them, I get a repost from them, I get replies from them. Like it just felt like home. It felt like this is the real deal. So I just kept building. I kept building, getting response from the founder himself, getting followed by base itself. Like it was like something new. Like I felt like base is home. That's why I kept building on base. And whenever I go to I attend many Ethereum events with other chains there. But I make sure to talk about base to like to onboard new people to base. Cause like I don't know, probably, but it just this like as if it's something like a spirit that is making me just keep on building. It's because of the support from the base builders out there. Like they are not proud, they are not, they just support everyone. And I love the mission of bringing the next global on-chain economy, global people on chain. So that's it.
I like it. I like it. And I think everyone building on base has the exact same mission as base, bringing everybody on chain, building that global economy that we all wanted it to be. Uh, not to rant a little bit, but let's hand it off to Q. Q, why exactly are you building on base?
Yeah, I think the alignment is really the biggest thing. Like you said, the same exact mission of bringing everybody on chain helps the chain itself grow a lot when the builders and the team running it actually have the same mission and are very aligned. But beyond that, just the recognition is a huge one. The base ecosystem, the team, and the builders won't hesitate to put you in the spotlight if that's your time, if they have the option to, if they can. And that's really something that's very uncommon in this space. Everybody's just very selfish, and I'd say base is very much so the opposite. It's extremely selfless community. Everybody is ready to help in any way they can. So yeah, for us, it's been home since day one, and it's a natural fit for everything we're doing.
To build community and to actually show that you care about people, you have to give before you take. And Base is the only org that has shown that they're willing to give before they take something from people. And it is very different from most other chains. And it is shown. So, I mean, Wing, Q, Drux, they all brought up the point of how not only was Jesse super active, and, that's one of the main reasons that Base is attractive, but he actually supports builders, like individually, personally, outside of his position at base. He will hop on a call with you. He will shoot the shit with you in the DMs. Like this is the mentality it takes to actually build a real ecosystem and build a real community.
So true. And quick shout out to Satuit as well. She's pretty dope as well. You can't
Huge shout out.
miss the base
Based
mom.
come on.
Base mom.
Yeah.
All right,
We love you, Mom.
Carlo, you're the last one. Why exactly is Rives building on base?
Well, we want to build a great project, and to build something great, you need a strong base, right? So it's a great community. Everybody is curious, and they are willing to experiment new things. There's a really strong sense of community, and everyone wants to cooperate, wants to try new things, experiment, give feedback. That's super important. Transaction costs are low, so you can onboard everyone. You don't have to spend like a ton of money just to interact with applications. Anyone can just afford a couple of cents and do whatever they want. And also, it has a great onboarding for people that are, let's say, getting into Web3 from buying some crypto, right? There's Coinbase that bridges super well to Base as well. So you get from someone that knows nothing, just purchase a bit of Bitcoin, and instantly they're able to onboard on the applications and get into this massive world, which is the Base ecosystem, right?
Well said. Well, I think I probably went about 2 minutes over. I hope that's fine. Luciano, do you have any closing comments, or should we just shout out homebase.love?
I'll say one last time, welcome home, welcome to base. I'm so glad that you all could join us today. Absolutely amazing session. There will be recordings as well, so if you want the recording, just let me know and I'll shoot it to you. And once again, thank you all for being here. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you, Zach, for hosting, and you're all incredibly base builders.